Hey everyone, this is Dandy Dragon, and today we got a 1v1. This time from TheMotasem, aka the Monkeh. And this was a ladder game from him, obviously 1v1. Map is Lipany, and he will be playing Byzantines against HRE with the Balls. Now, starting off, when you're looking at this map, we got the hills kind of on each side, serves as kind of some natural barriers. The resources pretty much spread out fairly evenly. You got kind of a couple berry bushes around each person, some deer, a fair amount of resources, fairly well distributed. Though it looks like our opponent gets a few more large gold nodes on their map compared to Monkeh. A little sucks, but they are pretty forward, though he does have some good backline. So some good resource coverage for the boss. I would probably say his spawn's a little bit nicer. He can wall off his left flank completely with just one wall there. That wouldn't be hard to wall off, leaving only his right side open. But there is the fact that it would be hard to wall this off. Thus, a lot of his back resources would be very open to raids. And none of it's very close. Monkey's is a little bit closer there, I would say, than, like, for instance, all of this. But yeah, still fairly even. Now we'll go a little bit faster here at the start. We do see that Monkey's got his cistern that's going to be covering his stone, his wood line a little bit, and definitely his gold. And more than likely, we'll probably see him place one more over here once he has the stone to cover the berries as well, and the other half of the wood line, which would obviously be good for his economy to get that full coverage. And for those who don't know, the Byzantines have a special building called the Aqueduct and the Cistern, and that improves the gather rate of nearby villagers by 10, 14, 18, 22, and 26%, depending on the network level. To do that, you build the building, the cistern, and you connect aqueducts to them like you would a wall, sort of mentality. Now we will see that Monk is switched over to the berries. With Byzantines, they get a special resource called olive oil, which we can see right here, separated from the rest of the resources. Those resources, the olive oil, can be used to get special units from the mercenaries houses, or what's it called here? Double check. Sure. Yeah, mercenary house. And that allows him to get units from other civs. So he's going to be able to use that to kind of get himself a small advantage in terms of his options there. We do see his opponent. It's got a decent haul with 6, not great, but not bad. Monkey doing pretty well with 14, and if he had gone back here, he would have had one more. But for now, 14, that's not bad at all. That coverage from this should still be covering the sheep, so he should be good on that. He's getting them up close against the TC to help with the drop-off timings, which is good. And you can see the opponent is already getting scouted out. Monkey is on top of him, seeing what he's doing. Now, this is a little surprising. We do have the mine work. This is usually a sign that you're going for more feudal pressure, like with horsemen or spearmen, by getting the special upgrade, the all pikes. And I'm not seeing it. Like, you could also use this for a early ram rush. It only costs 88 resources to get the siege engineering, where normally it's a little bit more expensive, allowing for a better timing on that. So, a little surprised not to see any of this getting used. And he's going straight into Regnets. That is surprising. Normally, you would do this with a Aachen just to get the resource boost and get your castle a little bit faster and then have a better transition. If we slow down, we can kind of take a look at our opponent. He's got a decent food bank, but not a lot else. And here we see he was probably putting this monk to go grab the relic from over here. And immediately he's going to start losing that monk to the horsemen that were getting prepared for a push. Now, looking at the boss, he's not got a lot covered. He does have this covering the gold, which is good. But he has nothing to protect his berries. His wood line is only protected by TC coverage, but against horsemen and keshiks, that's not great. And the Byzantines are able to get keshiks, a Mongolian unit, through their mercenary contract. So a pretty powerful little raiding force here. Meanwhile, back at the base, we're seeing he's almost out of berries there, which will mean no more olive oil, because that's how he gets that. And he's just kind of keeping his eco going. We do see he's transitioning into some archers, not a bad choice. Normally, the counter for horsemen is going to be archers. So if you can preempt, or not archers, spearmen, which are countered by archers. So if you preemptively counter the spearmen with some archers, you're going to have a much easier time. We do see he's looking for something to poke at. His opponent's just kind of staying under TC. And he's going to run out of food pretty quickly. He's got decent access to gold still. Though Monkey does seem to see this. Yep, he's going after that monk. And, oh, so close to topping it. Didn't get the triumph until a second too late. And now these horsemen and the Keshik are heading over to this wood line. Yes, he's losing the horsemen there, but that's definitely worth it. That's a Vil kill, 2 Vil kills, 3. Oh, that's some heavy losses there. All right, that's 4. Yep, he's going to lose all those Vils. And for just like 3 horsemen and a Keshik, the Keshik basically being free, I'll make that about 4 horsemen. That's not a bad trade. If you 6, lost quite a bit in that raid, but honestly, he traded fairly evenly there, losing 7 horsemen basically for 7 Vils. I would take that trade at this point in the game, especially since your opponent has no military unit whatsoever to counter push you with. That's just like positive for you. Like I see nothing but benefit from that push. Honestly, this Keshik probably should stay up here and keep an eye out for the opponents going on to the berries. And then this southern force needs to be pushing up. Because if this right here raids right here, and while he's raiding this, his opponent's not going to be able to micro a defense very efficiently, which will be good for him. Though 3 Keshiks with the Triumph can beat probably a Castle Knight without too much issue. Only able to do 24 damage versus a Keshik's 3 armor, but with the healing, it's gonna, yeah, he's not gonna kill very quickly, while those Keshiks are gonna be doing some pretty hard damage to him. And we got the Triumph going on again, giving them that passive regeneration, and just killing the Vils. Just full pressure going in here from the Monkeh. He's up to 13 kills. He's like straight up just double his opponent almost. And he can continue just fighting this without too much trouble. Yes, he doesn't want to lose Keshiks or horsemen needlessly, but he's got the numbers to not really care. Though 2 will make a difference. Though with 4 more horsemen and 3 more archers, the amount of DPS that'll come from this will definitely beat that. And for those who are wondering how he's getting the healing and why I'm talking about Triumph, the Byzantines from their landmark, the Imperial Hippodrome, get this ability. Consume all supply points, which is right here, to increase cavalry damage by 4, move speed by 10%, and health regeneration by +2. Each supply point increased Triumph's duration by 1 second, and maximum 45 supply points can be collected. So for instance, if he uses this right now, for 9 seconds, all his horsemen and cavalry in general, Keshiks, doesn't matter what, will be getting 2 healing a second per unit. So at 9, you'd be getting 18 health on each of these horsemen and Keshiks, plus the 4 damage, which honestly on a horseman, that's not bad. With that 13 damage, that's almost as much as the knight. That is, like, obviously you're not going to have the same armor and melee as you have none, but you are going to get the regeneration. And you can see that these horsemen and like 1 or 2 Keshiks are trading efficiently into just pure knights. This is not looking good for the boss. The boss is now behind 20 Vils in comparison. He's running low on food options. Barry's about to run out of his sheep there, except for the last one there. And he's relying purely on relic gold. Now, luckily, you can see he's getting 159 gold per minute with just even 1 relic, it looks like, roughly speaking. That's good. Now here, these Keshiks need to get out of here. They are going to die to this mass. And so, like, you might as well just get the cavalry units out of there. And we do see he does get the Keshiks out right away. Horseman, he didn't need to lose, and he didn't need to get that damage on the Keshik, but he cut his losses and got the Keshiks out. That's the important part, which is immediately going to allow him to get back on the raid up to 16, 17, probably get these last two. And that'll be 19 Vil kills so far for Monkeh. That's rough. That is just rough. We do see he's losing a few more horsemen, though, there. These horsemen should probably run, just keep the knights busy running in circles. But it looks like Monkey's focusing his attention elsewhere and just getting his base set up, which is fair. Like, at this point, you probably need to start pumping some spears to deal with that many knights. These knights could easily overwhelm this force right here if he's not careful, so he needs to get some mass up before they get over there. We do see that this lone horseman, which was going after the scout, is going to make its retreat. I was about to say it's about to get bullied down pretty hard there. These horsemen and Keshiks moving down, more spearmen. Now, I believe, if I'm correct, a knight will lose to 3 feudal spearmen in castle. I could be wrong. Either way, it's a lot of damage. So with 9 spears, that's going to be able to do some decent damage. You're going to have the triumph for healing. That's going to allow these horsemen not to die very quickly and do decent damage. These knights will actually lose this fight despite the fact that they can do a lot more damage, have way more health. And we see there just another cleanup from the Monkeh. He is just dominating against these castle knights with purely just Keshik, Triumph, and Spearmen. If you're HRE, you gotta feel rough right now. Your opponent's just dominating you with pure feudal units and just free Keshiks. You see he's back on the food over here, using a prelate to give him the faster gather rate, which is fair. That's a good decision over here because he doesn't have Aachen. We do see a lot of idle Vils here. He cannot afford that. Right now, the boss cannot afford 1 set of units to be idle, whereas Monkey can. He's got 20 Vils not getting anything, and even with 20 Vils not gathering resources, he's still ahead in terms of the resources per minute. Though that gold is pretty dang solid. 632 per minute right now. Yikes. We do see the horsemen are moving up, heading towards more Vils. Oh, once again, that is not what you want to be dealing with as the HRE player. Another Vil kill going. 2, 3, it looks like. Yep. Yikes, that is rough. And at this point, Monkey's eco lead is just going to let him allow to just trade these armies. His opponent having to go out on the map for resources. He has to deal with a lot of more raiding potential from his opponents, having to waste resources on an outpost. Yikes. Monkey, meanwhile, with his excess wood, is just able to get crap tons of farms set up. This woodland, though, he needs a lumber camp right there and a lumber camp there. That needs to be a more efficient lumber camp operation there. Though right now, if his opponent pushed into him, he could probably take Monkey out. That is a lot of knights. 15 knights could definitely beat 18 spearmen, but he needs to get down to Monkey's base right now. Like, if he doesn't push this right away and Monkey remasses, that'll be it. He's got a very small window to try to equalize this. I do see that he's trying to get the knights healed up. That makes sense. You don't want to lose them unnecessarily. But at this point, you are in a position where you're not able to afford this sort of resting period. Like, you got the mass to win, and now it's looking harder to see that go through. The horseman, if he gets a couple more to tank up the damage and enough limits nigh to do the damage you need to do to kill the knights. Yeah, the most damaged ones are getting healed. 32 though against 9. No, that'll be the spearmen's win if they engage head on. At this point, I'm not really sure what you do as the boss. like my bet is you need to raid with the knights you have and go to TC or try to rush castle or imp, which means you got to get off of the wood, get down like 1 or 2 houses, and just put everything on food. Get on these deer. Just try to speed run the Palace of the Swabia to just print out villagers and then catch your economy up, or just go to TC. That's about all I could think. You could probably get trade too. Get a market down like right here. Trade from there to there, and you'll have a decent trade. Though honestly, if Monkey isn't paying attention here, you could even like trade from there to there. Though I wouldn't recommend it. Now this is very poor use of your knights. These guys should be looking for these fills, you know. Right now, they're just destroying a couple houses, and Monkey can afford that. He's got 600 wood. He can easily just make that trade. Now, these knights are looking to get on these fills. Oh, that's rough. And the Triumph is not activated, meaning they're not going to just dominate these fills. That's rough. Right now, he could use it with that amount. He could have probably killed like 2 or 3 vills there. Or he could have at least escaped. And, like, if he goes up here, that would have been dead vills. 8 more, put him up to 30. 20 versus 57. That's not... Yeah, there's no contest there. It does look like the Spearmen have pushed back the Night Raid. And that's only 5 vill kills for the boss, despite putting a lot of knights into a risky position. And luckily, he doesn't seem to have lost any. He went in with 9. He's coming out with 9. That's good for him. Honestly, he should probably just keep pumping knights. Like here, that or he's got to make a men-at-arm transition, and he just needs to put the pressure on. He's got a decent amount of resources now. His food per minute is good. He hasn't had to make a farm transition, so he's saved himself a lot of resources compared to Monkey. Monkey not getting on these berry bushes and like because he doesn't have map control due to the presence of these knights. Man, that's not a easy thing to work around. Though we do see the knights are all pushed forward. That's risky. Right now, if Monkey had continues with the Keshiks, if he didn't lose that earlier mass too, that could have probably just dive all this and just start wiping out his base. That's a big risk he's taking. We do see the knights come over, see the wall, and instead of just going around and just being a little bit more patient to see if there's an opening, he doesn't go for it. He could have run right through and started idling a lot of economy here, and instead is immediately pushed back by spears, and his window is now basically gone. The spearmen are in place. If he started going down south, spearmen would cut him off without issue. We do see that Monkey is going for a mercenary house on top of the trade post. The trade post giving him access to Jugnu and mercenary war elephants. That's a tough thing to be right there. With the knight comp, a few war elephants could make quick work of this. Sadly, he doesn't have the olive oil to make any at this moment, but just even 2 or 3 could really change the dynamic of the fight. You do see he's coming back in for another raid. That's kind of pointless. You're not going to be getting a lot of damage down. Doesn't even go for the Vil. Yikes. And this is immediately seen. He comes right up to the wall, doesn't even immediately attack it, waits a few seconds. That is some poor decision making by the boss. That's not a boss move right there, I'll tell you what. Luckily, he does retreat in time before he loses any knights. He cannot afford to throw this military away, though he is getting some men-at-arms that could push that. But we do see that Monkey... he is aged up, yep. He has gotten castles, so now he's going to be able to transition into a much more powerful army, get knights of his own, aka the Cataphracts. These things are a force of nature. 360 HP, a baseline of 4 armor each, and a baseline 27 damage, not including all the bonuses. Meanwhile, your opponents are looking at 4 armor, baseline 230 HP, 24 damage. So, especially that health difference, that extra 120 HP, that turns some fights around. That is big. We do see that the boss is on stone, either trying to get that second TC finally or going for a keep. Honestly, both choices not bad. If you could drop a keep right here, or like right here to gain control of this food and this gold, that would give him a lot of more control. And yep, we see the keep going down. You'll all have to pardon me. I've been sick for a bit now, and between that and the holidays, I'm a little stuffed up and a little out of my schedule. Now, looking at these men-at-arms, we do see that they have the... Looks like they're on axes. Shame, you get the mace upgrade. That gives them +6 damage versus heavy. At least then they can do some decent damage into knights. Getting a... What is that? It's 22 damage total. That's not bad. 22 damage versus a cataphract will, you know, like 4 or 5 men-at-arms can take one down if they have that. Unless, of course, they have Triumph. That Triumph is a bully of an ability. Just being able to just pump up the regeneration so you don't lose your military when you get on top of your opponents. The cataphracts also having ability called Trample. Charge through an enemy unit in your path, dealing 12 damage to each one. Plus, I believe, I'm not sure if it's a baseline or if it's something that happens later on, off the top of my head. But it also can imbue them with additional damage, meaning that when you use that, you can get additional damage percentile, meaning you hit harder, basically ignoring some of their armor. So, really nice ability for the cataphracts, one of the strongest units in the game. But it does come at the cost of a lot of resources. 180 food, 150 gold, versus the baseline 140, 100. So an extra 180, that'd be 40 more on that, plus 50, that's 90 more resources. And at 240 baseline, that's basically 2 knights for the, like, almost for the price of a cataphract. Probably 2 cataphracts per 3 knights, or 3 to 5, something around there. That's rough. And we do see that is a cleanup of all those men-at-arms and those vills. And he lost 2 cataphracts for all that. That is not a good trade for the boss. Right now, he needed more military. He could not afford to be greedy and go imp. He needs to, but he can't afford it. Right now, his best bet would have been drop probably a market to spend his gold to buy the wood and stone he needs for a second TC, buy up some food, and then just pump out a lot more men-at-arms or spearmen, and then just keep building cataphract or knights on top of that. But now it's looking like his window of opportunity to catch back up is going away. Cataphract's gonna be doing some serious damage to these knights, and with the Triumph and the Trample, they're gonna be able to do short work of these guys. That is rough. 8 versus the yep, bro. Oh no, down to 5 versus there's 5 there. That's about 9 cataphracts, and they were of equal number when they engaged. That is a rough situation. We do see another cataphract going down, more knights going down, and those knights are near dead. And now we see the war elephants here. Yeah, those knights, they don't have a hope in hell. Looks like Monkey's trying to make a decision on how he wants to do it. He's deciding to go for the Chirosyphons to deal with the keep there. Probably that keep. Yep. Oh, and we do see another war elephant on the way. Some veteran Lipany. And at 8 military units, one of that's a scout, 2 of those are prelates. Yeah, he has nothing to stop this. There's like... Right now, Monkey could just go dive his TC, honestly, and just go landmark hunting. That is not a good situation. Even if he doesn't go for landmarks, he can destroy infrastructure, he could raid vills. His opponent's running out of food, and despite having the ability to get on these berries, that's not going to be enough. That will not be enough food per minute to make a military that can handle this. We do see he's leaving enough military just to build the Chirosyphons, which is smart, and he's just putting them up with the shield wall, taking 25% less range damage, but with less attack speed. But that's, you don't really need it. You just need it there, soaking up damage, not dying, while you just burn down the keep. And since the emergency repairs was already used on this barracks, it cannot be used on this keep. Will he get it in time? Oh, that'll be rough. We do see the knights are trying to engage with the cataphracts. Cataphracts now, most of these are new and healthy, and they're going to push back those knights without issue. And nope, did not get it. Emergency repairs still has about a sixth of the way to go. That won't be fast enough. He's losing infrastructure, losing knights, and that will be a call from the boss at GG, and that is Monkey's win. That was a dominating victory. Though, it goes to show you, those knight numbers, when Monkey didn't have enough spears there, could have probably rolled his base, or at least done a lot of damage, idled a lot of eco. But you do weigh the risk of if you cannot do enough damage with that attack, and your opponent can recover or push you back and you don't have defense anymore, you're likely to just lose. So that's a hard decision to make. Well, thank you, Monkey, for submitting that game to me, and thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. You all take care.